Good morning from just outside of the Beltline. Today, I will take you on a bike ride through the Atlanta Beltline and just outside of it. I will also discuss the streetcar tram extension into here, as well as the local politics around it and what I personally think about it. For those of you that are not familiar with this, the Beltline is an ex-CSX freight rail line that ran just outside of Atlanta, which is now being converted into a mixed-use path for walking, biking, electric scootering, and rollerblading. The line connects many apartments with stores, markets, and parks, and in my opinion, the Beltline is a magical example of what urbanism can do to cities and what good urban planning can do for communities. Here, we come across Ponce City Market, a small mall-like structure that manages to fit inside of this heavily urbanized area. And going inside of it, when I was in there, you can really feel the difference of just how much urban planning can liven up a space. Many modern malls in the US are usually dead outside of the months preceding the winter holiday season of Christmas and Hanukkah, and Thanksgiving as well. However, this mall was very loud when I went into it and featured many people inside of it. And I will also say that when I went on a Wednesday at 2 p.m. Yet in my short time there, I saw the mall with almost as many people as most malls in the US have on weekdays or even weekends in November. Now, you might think that this is a unique circumstance, but I don't really think so. I think that this has to do with the simple ease of access that the Beltline allows local residents to have that allows this sort of mall to thrive. In addition to the nearby apartments that supply customers to the mall, I might mention that this is actually a redevelopment of a former, once empty, Sears warehouse. That being said, moving on, we see many apartments here. Then we cross into a bridge and pull into a park here. I may have only been biking for 5 minutes in this video, but in Atlanta weather, it does feel exhausting a bit to bike while holding a phone in one hand to record it. But I later get up from that intensely hot 30-degree weather out in Atlanta, and I start biking again. This time, however, it is actually not to bike on the Beltline for that long, as we shortly merge on off of it and on a trail that will lead to another trail that will lead to the MARTA station. And this is the real strength of the Beltline, how much connections it has. You do not have to live on the Beltline to be able to access the Beltline. You can usually access it with just a 5-minute bike ride if you live within a small radius of it. Honestly, I'd say so long as you live within about 3 to 5 miles of it, you're pretty good for accessing it within a very quick time. You can usually access it with just a small 5-minute bike ride if you live within like about 2 kilometers of it, which is really cool. But as we go on here, we can see many people on the trails who are using it for recreation and leisure on this day. And from here, we get easy direct access onto the metro rail system, where we can easily park our bike and head on the train if we so wish. Now, this entire ride, from when I got onto the Beltline to when I got to the metro station, save for my time that I was stopped in the park, was only 10 minutes. Which is absolutely incredible that I can get there so quickly. Now, I imagine it would be straight up quicker to just straight up bike downtown, considering where I started from, and actually the fact I started a bit before I actually started recording. However, this is still insanely quick. And I think that this is really good for expanding access to communities. A lot of NIMBYs like to block projects like these. However, I don't think it's the best to block these projects, as these projects are what connects our communities and our cities, and what makes a city a real city, and not just a parking lot like 1970s Houston. And so because of this, I think that Beltline is one of the most important things for Atlanta. And I think that the upcoming project that Atlanta has planned for the Beltline is even more important. See, Atlanta wants to add trams right onto the Beltline and add a streetcar tram extension onto it. I think that this is an amazing idea, as it would allow people to get downtown quicker who live in this area, which is pretty transit deserted. And while this is a great idea in my opinion, a lot of NIMBYs do not think so, as a lot of people, usually rich people, who live near the Beltline in single-family homes, had signs out that said, "Trains on our Beltline? I've got questions, don't you?" And this really saddens me that people are so against transit. And sure, it might be a small nuisance, but it'll be on the side. You're still able to use the Beltline as normal, and there'll still be grade crossings, so that so long as a tram isn't crossing it, or isn't near crossing it, you'll be able to use it perfectly fine. And honestly, a tram connection is just what the Beltline needs to be more perfect, as it would allow people from Center City to get down to there, as well as people from the suburbs to get into Center City, and then connect onto the streetcar and onto the Beltline. So, yes, I do think that trams should exist on the Beltline. Now, you should be to note that I do not actually live in Atlanta. I was only here for about 4 days. But despite that, I think it's a really good idea to have trams on the Beltline. Many urbanists living in Atlanta or who used to live in Atlanta also agree with me. And so I think that is very important to advocate for trams on the Beltline if you live in the area of Atlanta. There are some really cool people online who will actually advocate even more than me for putting trams on the Beltline, and that is because it is important. As the city expands, the city needs more transit access, and as a channel who's transportation based, this is something very important to me. And so I think it is very important that it is very transit accessible down in Atlanta. But I don't know. That's just me, honestly. If you are from Atlanta yourself, I would appreciate a comment on this situation. I personally think it will increase connectivity and increase how many people, just do things with each other. People of all ages, from kids to adults. Imagine a world where you can just walk out of your house and there's plenty of things around you, and if you want to go to a center city, you just take a 5-minute tram ride to there. Just imagine how magical of a world that would be. But once again, that's just me. So if you have other comments, well, comment them below. But that's all I have to say for this video. This video was mostly impromptu because I kind of forgot to write part of the script on the day that I'm just editing all of these. So yeah, but I hope it was good. With that being said, next week we'll be riding the streetcar tram for our last Atlanta video. Yes, that is right. This series has gone by so quickly. So, I will see you there next week on the tram from downtown Atlanta to somewhere else in downtown Atlanta. See you there. Bye.